The NBA playoffs are set in stone. This is my Western Conference preview. I'll have an Eastern Conference preview out tomorrow. With that being said, the only thing I feel confident about, and I think a lot of people feel this way, about the Western Conference heading into the playoffs is that the Thunder are the best team, and someone's going to play the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. Who that's going to be, I have no idea. This is said every single year about the NBA playoffs. There is always a great importance of matchups and how well you match up with whoever your opponent is. But this year in the Western Conference, it feels even more important because all of these teams just feel so incredibly even. And when you go through like all the net ratings and the offensive and defensive ratings, it's that point just becomes more and more apparent. With that being said, obviously the entire playoffs aren't filled out yet because we don't know who's going to win these playing games. I'll have videos coming out on those games as well here pretty soon. With that being said, I think it's pretty obvious that the Thunder are going to want to not play against the Warriors. Same goes for the Houston Rockets. I think that when you look at the four Western Conference playoff teams between the Warriors and the Grizzlies, the Mavericks and the Kings, I think it's pretty clear that the Warriors are the best team. They've had the third best net rating post All-Star break, which includes obviously all the games with Jimmy Butler. I know they lost today, but I think everyone understands how dangerous that team is. So the Thunder, they'll 1,000% be pulling for the Warriors to beat the Grizzlies because I think they'd rather play the Grizzlies than the Warriors. Same goes for the Rockets. They're going to be pulling for the Grizzlies because I think they'd rather play the Grizzlies than the Golden State Warriors in the first round. Whoever loses that 7-8 seed game for those Western Conference play-ins, they should beat whoever wins that 9-10 matchup between the Mavericks and the Kings because let's be honest, neither one of those teams are very good. That's just the very simple reality of it. And the record supports that. The negative net ratings for both of those teams supports that. So I do like the Warriors and the Grizzlies to win their whoever loses that playing game to win the second one to play the Oklahoma City Thunder in that first round. With that being said, obviously both of those teams are going to do everything that they can to avoid having to play the Thunder in the first round because that likely means a first round exit, and obviously no one wants that. Lakers Timberwolves, that is your 3-6 matchup, and that game's going to be great. That series is going to be amazing. I can't wait. With that being said, I do think that the Lakers are better than the Timberwolves. It's a great matchup for the Lakers as well because you know that the Timberwolves are going to want to play Rudy Gobert, and the Lakers love to go small. They're going to be like, great, we're going to play Jackson Hayes 8 to 12 minutes a night just to kind of spell Rui. And then we're going to go Rui Hachimura at the 5 with Luka and LeBron on the floor. Rudy Gobert's not going to be able to guard anyone, and he'll wind up on the bench for most of the series, which means a lot of Naz Reid, which honestly, I don't really mind that if I'm a Timberwolves fan because I love Naz Reid. I don't know anyone who doesn't love Naz Reid. And so I think this is really just a matchup thing. Like, I think the Timberwolves just don't match up very well with the Lakers. I think they would have much preferred play someone like the Clippers because then, you just stick Gobert on Zubac or Zubac, excuse me, and and he can play 30 to 35 minutes a night. If you play Denver, then you can have Rudy Gobert out there for as much as you want because you know that Nikola Jokic is going to play 40 minutes a night. And so they're not going to be able to have, a guy who really anchors their defense. The Lakers do have probably the two best players in the series between LeBron and Luka. If you want to argue that Anthony Edwards is better than LeBron at this point, like I'll listen to you. I'm probably not going to agree with you, but I'll listen to you. So I like the Lakers to win that series in 6. Anthony Edwards is going to have a couple games where he's awesome, and the Timberwolves will win those games just because Anthony Edwards has the ability to be Superman from time to time. Clippers Nuggets, that is your 4-5 matchup, and this series just feels weird. It does. Okay, few people had the Clippers finishing 5th in the Western Conference before the season started. There's obviously a ton of concern before the year started about Kawhi Leonard and the injuries and James Harden. What's he going to look like? He's getting a little bit older. And they have the 4th best net rating in the NBA after the All-Star break. That's how good they've been. They've been really good here as of late. The defense has been good. Kawhi Leonard looks like superstar Kawhi Leonard, which I think is pretty surprising just given the history of all of the injuries. And I think matchup-wise, this is not exactly who the Clippers wanted to play because Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. but this allows them to put Zubac on the floor, a guy who's going to get votes for most improved player, a guy who's going to get votes for defensive player of the year. So I'm sure the Clippers are glad that he's actually going to be able to play in the series and he's not going to get played off the floor. At the same time, I'm sure they're not thrilled about playing Nikola Jokic, and I'm sure that, Zubac isn't thrilled about having to guard that dude for, 4, 5, 6, or 7 games in a row. I do like the Nuggets in this series. I know they've been slipping so much to a point where they fired everybody, including, NBA champion head coach Michael Malone. Part of the slippage, though, in the second half of the season is, Jamal Murray has been out of the lineup. He's back, played in the final 2 regular season games of the year. Didn't play great, but that's fine. He's missed some time. There was some rust, but when he was on the floor, their offense is just so much better. When Jokic goes to the bench, they have a real offensive option to run their offense through. And that's always the thing with the Nuggets, right? Because you know that they're going to win the minutes that Jokic is on the floor. The question is, can they win the minutes when he's off the floor? And when Jamal Murray's in the game in those minutes, he gives them a chance to do that. So I'm going to take the Nuggets to win that series in 7. And part of that as well is I feel pretty good about Aaron Gordon being you don't feel good about anyone stopping James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, but Aaron Gordon, I think, is the kind of defender you would want to put on Kawhi, big, athletic, and strong. I think Christian Brown's going to do a really good job just bothering James Harden throughout that series as well. So I kind of like those matchups for Denver. And look, they have the best player in the series, and they've got 2 defenders who you can put on the Clippers' best players and feel pretty comfortable about it. So I like the Clippers. Excuse me. I like the Nuggets in, let's go 6. Winning game 7 in LA, especially in that new stadium, is going to be tough. So we'll take the Nuggets in 7, the Nuggets in 6. I'm going to get it right at some point. The Nuggets in 6, the Lakers in 6, the Thunder over whoever they play. And if the Rockets play the Warriors, I'll take the Warriors in 6. And if the Rockets play the Grizzlies, I'll take the Rockets in 7. That's going to do it for this video. Once again, I'll have an Eastern Conference playoffs preview coming out tomorrow morning. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe. We're doing stuff all through the NBA playoffs. We'll sprinkle in some NFL draft stuff here and there as well. Can't wait to keep popping all these videos because it's a blast. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.